way. We're live on our 100th episode. We're so excited to have Grizzy from Grizzy Hood News with us.
Hey, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
I'm still trying to share it on live.
You
Jen.
are. You keep talking, I'll do the work.
Okay, well, we're so excited. 100 episodes. The point and the passion behind this podcast was to create a podcast for the community, by the community, to talk about issues that you all care about and we all care about at Crime Stoppers. We did a few seasons solo, and then our wonderful friend Jennifer Homan joined us as co-host.
Yes,
It's been fun, right?
it's been so fun. I mean, yeah.
It's so fun. Why are you thinking about this?
No,
So
I mean,
fun. I mean, it's so fun.
I'm trying to tame myself because we're live and we can't bleep.
Oh, well, that's
So I mean,
Grizzy. You know that when we brought Jen on, we were like, Jen, you were perfect, but we got to limit the language.
Oh, she's on my team. Yeah. Team curse words. Yes. Yeah.
So then I'm like, every passion word that wants to come out is not a good word for children. So I'm trying to be good.
Well, then Sydney Zeiker and I had a whole discussion about Taylor Swift's album and how often she swears in it because children listen to it. But it's the art of the language, I'm told. It's the art of the language. But we're so excited. We're live at Crime Stoppers. We have wonderful friends with us, all here to see Miss Grizzy.
Oh, thank you so much.
This special person who's become a dear friend, #1 fan, Jennifer Homan, made sure that you were going to be tied to the organization. We're so excited. Grizzy, thank you for being here. It's your second or third time with us.
Yeah, Rania. Yeah, it's like I can't believe it. It's just one of those things. It's weird how life plays out. A lot of people, if you know my story a little bit, you know, it's one of those things, like it's a circle for me, like, and being partnered with you guys and sharing experiences. And when we meet up, it's just nothing but love and empowerment and looking out for the community. So I love it. Yes.
We just awarded you a few weeks ago at the
Yes.
Crime Stoppers luncheon, and you deserved it and then some. Your story's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Your story's unbelievable. And we did a whole podcast with Grizzy. We encourage you to go back and listen to her story because it's moving. It's one of second chances, hope. Talks about just the value of a strong family, strong mom, a strong everything, determination, the ability to turn your life around, and look at what you're doing.
Grizzy,
is
hope and then giving
everywhere.
back, right?
Yes.
Hope and then giving back more, I think, to a community that's hard for some of us to tap into. And so, I mean, giving back beyond imagination is what I call it.
I had an interesting conversation yesterday, and there's a lot of discussion, obviously, rightfully so, on violent crime and violent crime being down, all-time lows. It's hitting all-time lows. And I posed the question, and honestly thinking about what you do. I mean, you're very busy every day. I'm constantly getting notification. Grizzy's gone live, which I know means something's going on.
Something's going on.
It's not because people are picking flowers in Houston.
No,
okay?
definitely not. No.
So the conversation was, has violent crime gone down, or are people not reporting it like they used to? Because you seem very busy. You're constantly showing things off. And I think not only that, but the type of criminal activity has elevated to all new levels. So even if the actual number is decreasing a little bit, and I think people can play with
The
numbers
severity
however they
is
want.
increasing, it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we were just talking about a case you just covered yesterday.
Yeah, Rania, like, and Jennifer, this is so crazy. Like, we're coming across stories where the moral compass inside the home is gone, where we're depleted morally. We're bankrupt, like in our homes. Like, there's no guidance for the kids. We've got husbands setting wives on fire and then setting themselves on fire. We've got grandsons committing murder of their grandparents and then shooting themselves. Like, it's no longer like people, like back in the day, we used to hear about selfish people taking folks out. They're taking themselves out in the mix. Like, we're hearing all these very chaotic stories. Like, just the last night, yesterday morning, a man gunned down a partner of his, or his lady, and then he steals a cop car after he engages with the shootout with a deputy that happened to be rolling through and in front of paramedics.
This is in public place,
Yes,
right? The
yes.
initial shooting.
And you said in front of paramedics, and then he stood and waited there after he'd shot her so many times
Yes,
for her to stop breathing, and then came back.
and then came back and then dropped off the vehicle, the police vehicle, and then leaves in his. I mean, this guy has nothing to lose, and he had he was not moving fast, like for somebody, like, you kill somebody, you leave. No, he was, it's like cat and mouse type of thing. It was very ugly. Like, we're seeing a lot of these kind of stories.
So Grizzy, back in the day, I can remember my parents used to threaten me, and I was not easy to raise. my cousin's here, so she's not allowed to tell stories. But I was not easy to raise. And my biggest fear was one of our board members, Judge Ted Poe.
Oh,
You
yeah.
Oh, I
didn't
remember
ever
him.
wanna
Oh,
be
yeah,
in front of
yeah,
Ted
yeah.
Poe,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So that's
yes.
that's how my dad would fear me. It feels like people don't fear law enforcement. They don't feel the justice system. Is that
Yeah.
consequences?
Back in my day when I was out there committing crimes, I heard of Ted Poe, and I think I had his court, and I remember just wanting to die. And somehow the courts got changed, and I had another one, but I was still terrified. Like that kind of, like, I feel like we have judges that are like advocates for criminals sometimes. I don't know if that makes any sense, you know?
Well, I
Like,
think what we've done is the pendulum always swings, right? So
Yes.
there's an argument that we were too tough on crime, meaning the criminal justice system was too strict.
On the small
Everybody
things,
was
right? On the
guilty.
things that
Punishment was
Yeah, not
severe,
fair.
and so now the pendulum's swinging, but it's got to come back to center, because this man you're talking about yesterday, didn't he have a history?
yeah,
And his wife ended up paying
domestic
the
violence,
price.
yeah, domestic violence with his partner, the same woman. And it's just sad, like these stories that are coming about, like where there is a history and there is maybe a bond condition, pretrial condition of some sort, that they're even out is shocking. Like, because they've already done something, their transgressions are already out there. And I'm just like, wow, I remember back in my time when I was out there being young and foolish, it was more punishment right away. Like there was no leading up, you know, the way we're seeing.
It's like you were
Like
put in
some- like
jail,
you-
you went to your.
You could easily find a suspect once they're caught or identified in a murder or something serious, and then you see a history. Even with the small time criminals, we're seeing, like, this guy stole some dinosaurs. It sounds funny, but there is nothing off the table these days. We're seeing guys steal rocking chairs off of grandmother's porches. We're seeing people just anything. It's like we can't make these stories up. So this
What's the
guy,
dinosaur story though?
okay, there was a trailer. Some
waiting,
guy,
what
some guy
dinosaurs?
stole a trailer, and inside were 3 Jurassic Park dinosaurs for this little local business. So we posted, you know, hey, dinosaurs are not off the table either. That I think I captioned it that way. And HPD made an arrest. They found the guy. I guess he was selling it on Facebook Market of all places after we posted on the hood
No,
news.
they're
I'm
fearless,
like,
they're stupid.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm like, man, this guy
Kind of
doesn't follow
goes
the
together
hood.
though, right? It
Right.
does go together.
Yeah. So he gets arrested, and we don't know that at the time. A few days ago, I posted a dirt bike that some guy just trespassed into somebody's yard, looked around, stole a dirt bike, wheeled it out of there, met up with the truck, and he told them, hey, drive up further. They loaded it onto the truck and left. I started getting tips. Like, they're like, Grizzy, this guy just got arrested for dinosaurs. I'm like, the dinosaur story I shared? Yes, he's been arrested. He was already out on bond and already doing the same thing. Now he's got to come up with the retainer fees.
Chris? I mean, it's powerful for your viewers, your followers, to see one crime over here that you posted. You're so far out, you're so out there all the time that you've got another one that they're identifying suspects and I mean, I think that's a benefit. Commander Dale's here, right?
Yeah.
That's a benefit to HPD that you can provide that type of information and connect the
Yeah,
dots.
like it's just community working together, and I know, like, we have law enforcement that watches, and they probably put 2 and 2 together too. And then we've got maybe a disgruntled, like, I'm just gonna be very honest. Sometimes the people that reach out are so near and dear to the criminal. Like it's somebody like a mother that's just fed up, and she's like, Grizzy, get him.
Arrest his
Or,
ass.
yeah, help me.
I'm ready for you to
Yeah.
arrest his ass.
Yeah.
Even to save them.
Mhm.
We've had, people that call Crime Stoppers, it's anonymous. We never know who they are. But over the years, we've heard stories of moms that will say, if he's not taken off the street, he will end up being killed. So arresting him is almost the only hope.
Oh yeah, I've got I've got a good amount of people that love and support, but I've got that group of haters. But what they don't realize, it's within their own circle of people that are telling me these things sometimes. Sometimes it's the homie that says, Grizzy, I just want to have a good laugh, man. Put them out there. I know who it is. Yeah, like the amount of tipsters, they're just ready to get that instant gratification that their homie gets put out on blast. And I'm like, okay, we can't make this up. It's true. And so I'm
So that's
just,
for all the criminals out
Yeah,
there. Your
like-
friends are knocking on your ass.
Yes,
Stop.
yes,
Stop.
yes.
Just stop doing
Yeah.
it.
I mean, do you drive around now and people are like, hey,
Yeah, it happens a lot. I never did the where you order online and then pick up the curbside. I've never done that. till recently because I'm just like, oh my gosh, it gets overwhelming being inside the store. Like people are like, Grizzy, it's a lot of love. It's always love, but it's just I'm very shy, and just I mean for not being shy, I'm very shy in my personal life. So I'm just like, wow, I do a lot of Uber Eats these days too, just to avoid a lot of the fuss and the bus and stuff.
800,000, almost 800,000 followers on Facebook. Your views far surpass that. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And outside of
what you
Houston.
put together. Yeah.
I mean, we get messages, I think you get messages that say, hey, can you bring this to Pittsburgh? Can you, right?
Yeah. I've got a lot of peeps, a lot of the followers all over the place, and they've never seen anything like what we're doing. Like it's just community awareness, and like I tell people, let me know. I'm not afraid. I'll put it out there, and I mean, I just ask for everybody to pray for me all the time, and
But that's my
literally.
question. Are you ever afraid?
No. I've come close to feeling fear, but it came from a random lady that was recording my family and myself eating lunch. And she told me afterwards, and I'm like, okay, now I can't even go out and have a meal with
Why
my
was she
family.
recording you?
I don't know. She's just very happy and excited, but it just made me realize, okay, I missed that. Like, what else am I missing? So it's just that kind of thing. But honestly, as somebody that struggled once with depression and suicide, I'm my own worst enemy. So I fear God, and that's it. Now I want to live, and I try to keep safe. I'm very situational awareness type, but there are moments where am I really like 100% safe? That's a question, but I've come to peace with that. Like if something happens to me, I'm doing what I love to do. And I pray God gives me health and prosperity so that I can continue to do this for a long time.
God will be giving you
Yes,
health
I
and
agree.
prosperity.
I
Nothing
agree.
will happen to you. We were talking about, crazy stories. Is there a story, and maybe we've even talked to you about it, but that's moved you more than any other story?
Yeah, it started, the Hood News took a turn, and everybody asked me, what's that story that you knew that you want to do Hood News? Josue Flores. And I know you ladies are familiar with the story. The little boy that wanted to be a doctor that stayed at an after school program, and he was walking home. He was pedestrian going home, and he was stabbed to death by this man that did these bad things to him. Well, the Hood News used to be a lot of parody and just car shows and just funny things. I would just put the police scenes behind me and just make up a whole other story, not realizing there might be something more serious, but I wasn't thinking in that time. And I remember the people from a lowrider group, they're like, Grizzy, can you use your platform to raise awareness? We're trying to raise money for the Crime Stoppers to add to it. And I said, yeah, I would like to do that. Yeah. The people were wanting to donate to you guys to make the reward bigger, to increase it, to find out who did this to Josue. So I was like, yeah, I'll definitely go. And then it just like was one story after another after that. Like it started, the Hood News no longer was the funny comical page. It was actually serving a purpose. So it's very fulfilling. I want to say that's the first and biggest, like that right there, the story of this little boy. I think about him all the time. Like I find out things later. Like he was such a giving boy. Like there's a program at the school where they give the kids pants and jeans, like they help them because there's a lot of kids that go to the school with low incomes, low income families. And he was so selfless. This kid literally gave another child a belt. I guess he had an extra one. He's like, I've got an extra one here. Like that's the kind of kid. He wanted to be a doctor. He wanted to help people, and anything with children and innocence. Oh man, like those are the stories that we need to share. Like social media is such a powerful thing. Like while people are making memes and doing this and doing that, we need to use it to help, where we can. Mm.
And that's what transformed you into a different purpose with your channel.
Yes, yeah. Like I became more aware, like of victims, of things, of privacy, of not victim shaming. Because I think I remember once upon a time being the type, well, what was mother doing? Oh, well, what about why was she here? Like, oh, well, what was she wearing? No way. Like, no.
There's
Like,
so many other aspects
I've
of the
learned
story.
so
Yeah.
much. Like, it's so easy to judge things. And the hood news is not just about getting the bad guys, it's also clearing people.
Yes.
You know, we've played a role a few times where we've helped somebody be found innocent of something,
Oh,
or,
that's
or put the
awesome.
truth out
Yeah.
there, what really happened. And even backing up officers during officer involved shootings. Just recently, over on the east side, we had a situation where a guy pulled a pistol on the officer. And if that video that we had, some guy was passing by, a hood news peep, recorded this, I mean, otherwise people would have been saying, oh, he just wanted to kill cops, you know, just kill people. No, like these stories, these videos, everything we try to post is always going to be with truth and seeking to find out what's really happening, not just like politically driven or anything like that. Like no agendas. Like this is real people capturing these moments in real time.
What a value and what an
Yeah,
asset it's
yeah.
been. I'm always, Jenna, I don't know, you've been working in the human trafficking industry for a long time. We've been working with
Can we say anti? Yeah, sorry.
anti-human trafficking industry for a long time, and obviously been with Crime Stoppers for a long time. But sometimes people can grow not indifferent, not cold, not numb, but you grow strong to what's going. But your emotion is always right there.
Oh yeah,
Your
yeah, that doesn't
emotion
leave.
is always right
I mean, I
there.
could be watching at midnight and she's popping up and and I'm having a moment too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what it is. Like I'm always like that. I always put myself in the family or the person that's gone or that's been done some kind of wrong. Even animals, like those. Oh my gosh, I love animals so much, and the problem that we have with strays, all that just really affects me. But I find strength in continuing, and there are days where I have to seek a counselor, you know, online, you know, whatever. I recently opened up to my family about some things, just mental checks. You know, I need to do those more often, but I mean, it's just a reflection of the stuff that we see. You know, you guys go home and cry too. I know you guys do. I know you hear a story or something that's going on, or you get to meet a family and you take a lot of that with you. So there are moments where I have to diffuse. I put the phone away. A lot of people don't realize just how much that when you're sharing these stories or you're coming across this information, it's a lot to everybody, from the people that work at the courthouse entering the
Yeah.
info, the people inside the court reporters having to hear things, the judges, everybody. Like these are like people take home this secondary kind of stress.
Yeah.
I always say in this business, and I don't know if these are the proper terms, but it's almost like we're working with like the depravity of people's hearts. I mean, we're seeing the most evil sides of people and what they're capable of doing, whether it's intentionally, meaning with forethought, or in the heat of the moment because they're angry. It's got to change the way you see things. I mean,
But you also see the opposite too. You see the most vulnerable that you have that you just immediately have that empathy for. So it's like you're on either,
and the community that rallies behind
Oh
it
yeah,
too.
yeah. When I'm angry, I delight in that because I'm like, okay. But when it's sad, it's like, oh my gosh, like these sad things. And like I'm literally like Arlene Alvarez, that story, this little beautiful girl, Valentine's Day. Yes, it stays with. That's the first time I dropped everything and just got on my knees and sobbed. You know, to see this family going through these things. But there are also moments that we feel empowerment when somebody's captured, you know, when the face is put out there and, hey, this is the person, be on the lookout. You know, you never know when a random person, it's gonna be their time, or a missing child. Those are the we gain the strength. So there's always gonna be, it's like a boat that sails in rocks.
But it's affected. I mean, Jen, has your work not affected the way you see the world?
Yes, and I've had to restrain myself many times. And it's almost like but then when you learn the story of even some of the offenders, right, the perpetrators, you find some level of empathy there because they've got something in their own history that has made them mean or made them be this way. So it's like, yeah, it's changed my perspective. It's changed my perspective on how I raise my children. It's changed my perspective on how I mentor other people. It changes my perspective on my nieces and nephews. Like, and it changed my perspective on who I let in my circle. Because then you just have I think you just understand humanity a lot different. And
yeah, the word friend and everything has a whole different meaning. And I delight in getting with like-minded people, keeping that kind of company. Like you ladies, I love y'all. Like absolutely. Yes, I absolutely. Every time I'm in this building, it's like this love. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love them. They're powerful. They're smart. They're just amazing. I wish I could put it in a bottle and spray it everywhere. Like these ladies are a whole vibe. And so, yeah, like it's just changed. I used to have a lot of friends that wanted to go out all the time. And I've never been like that kind of person. I like to go out, but with a purpose. Like, okay, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. A lot of people often, some of the followers reach out to me and they say, why are you posting all this negative stuff? Why can't you do a happy story? I'm like, hey, when there's a happy story to tell, we're going to tell it. But unfortunately, we're making more ugly headlines than happy stories. I love the random story of a Good Samaritan. There was a lady in heels, a dress and everything. Some guy, a pedestrian, got ran over, and she, instead of recording him, she got on her knees, started helping him and talking to him, keeping him alert until paramedics arrived. And we celebrated that lady. You know, she stopped everything. Meanwhile, you got in the background of the video, you see like 15 people recording this man, and some of his clothes came off. You know, like I guess they peeled off of him from the tires. But yeah, just that type of thing. So when there's an opportunity, we celebrate. But and I also tell people, hey, when a child is found, that's a celebration. Whether people want to think it that way or not, when a crime, when a bandit or a porch bandit or criminal or murder is caught and we're sharing that, that's a triumph. I mean, I guess it's how you see it, perspective. So I tell people, I'm sorry, I'm like, I'm so sorry, this might not be your flavor. So they're just like, okay, bye. Bye. Bye.
And I've seen you kind of do that on your page before.
If you don't
No one's
like it,
forcing you to
unfollow.
follow.
Yeah, nobody. Keep scrolling, baby.
So
Keep
you're,
scrolling.
are you a journalist?
No, I'm just a neighbor that cares. I'm just that crazy lady. They say, yeah, I'm the Tia Grizzy. I'm just out there. I don't photo journal. What was it that somebody said? I don't know. I don't want to label. I'm just Grizzy. I just go out there and want to bring the followers with me so they can see what's going on in real time. And a lot of times we make contact with the people whose stories we're sharing. So that
You
makes
become
it-
like part of their family though.
Yeah.
Maybe that was
yeah.
the little girl that went missing that you helped so much. That you become part of their family. And so that's a whole level, a different level of journalism or news reporting or whatever you want to call it, of community work that's different.
Yeah, it's told with their perspective in mind, like, well, how would we feel if it was our uncle or son or loved one out there on that street, laying there deceased. So it's definitely that. Like,
What's the craziest request? We got to ask this one because I know you get so many crazy requests. Like my brother, sister's uncle did this. I need you to put it on Facebook because they stole my $5 when we were sitting at the table playing
Oh
poker.
man, I get a lot.
Like,
I get weird, random stuff. A lot. Sadly, I'm getting a lot of contractor stuff. Like, hey, I paid this contractor $50,000 to come gut out this house, renovate it. Grizzy, look what it's looking, and there's like no work done. All the like I don't know, like, and it's so much. Like when I'm saying that Houston has a huge problem, it's on so many levels, so many different. There's even rich ladies. A rich lady hood news is a thing, okay? Rich lady.
I know.
Yeah, shout out to my ladies of River Oaks and Bel Air. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a woman, a wealthy lady. She's like a millionaire. She got her nails done and walked out without paying. And I'm like, what is going on? But we've had,
Like her credit card's on
I
file,
mean,
or
no,
she's
she just didn't want to pay. She snuck out. I was like, what happened? Was she mad? And she didn't appear to be angry or disgruntled. Like she got up, walked off, looked both ways, and she
Like there's a video of it.
yeah. And I'm like, what are we gonna do with this? But I think they've made contact. A lot of the nail salons with the upscale clientele, they don't want to really air it out. She was just like venting to me, but eventually I guess they're supposed to make an arrangement. I don't know, but I thought that was pretty funny. Like
It's on all, it's everywhere,
yes,
right?
yes. I get a lot of cheaters requests.
that's what I'm thinking.
The
That's
cheaters.
exactly what I
Yeah.
was
The first
thinking.
one we need to call Grizzy's Hood BB.
Yeah.
Better Business Bureau. We need to be the Better Business Bureau, right?
Yes.
We have a whole, we got a whole
Yeah.
segment on that. Okay, now let's think about cheaters.
Yeah, I get a lot of missing men after the Astros games or after the games, like they're gone, they haven't made it home. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna need a police report number and a flyer. Please get that over to me, sis, and I got you. And then like there was one guy.
Oh, like a missing report.
Yeah, there was.
a missing
I'm
persons
gonna use the
report.
name Connor. We were referencing this the other night. There's a guy named Connor that went missing. The wife was in hysterics. Like she posted pictures of him like with clothes on, without clothes on. The he's ripped with muscles, like tattoos. Like Connor was looking good. And I was like, oh my God, Connor's missing. I got invested. All of us were invested in this story. I'm like, Connor is looking really good. Like, oh my God, this gorgeous man is missing. Let's help find him. And she had the police report number and everything that I required. And we made the story. It's just everything always goes viral, right? With the hood news, it's like the talk of the town. And all of a sudden, I get an update. Thank you, Connor has been found. We would like our privacy respected at such a delicate time. We'll come out further. We'll at a later date with some more details. I'm like, nah. Where was Connor? And I found out that Connor was with side chick. So there goes, there goes that. Like,
because his friend told on him.
Yes, so Connor,
I bet his
they were
friend
trying
knows.
to hint at some sort of mental breakdown. No, yeah, mental breakdown of a marriage. Yeah, but yeah, it's just.
I wonder if Connor's like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I don't know. I never made contact with Connor, but and it was just one of those crazy stories, and I was just like, you know what, this one's for the books. I was angry that the time and resources and stuff went into looking for poor old Connor, but yeah, it's
I
no.
just thought about maybe someday where my boys don't answer my text messages, and I'll be like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Don't make me call
Yes,
Grizzy.
that's just insane. So yeah, I've had a lot of that. I've had a husband reach out to me and say, "Hey, would you like to join me and my wife?" And I'm like, for what? Like for what? Like really what?" And he's like, "For dinner for her birthday." And I was like, "Oh."
You should have said, does he look like Connor?
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. So yeah, I get a
cool.
lot of weird, strange requests, and it's always the cheater ones though. If I could make $1 million one day, it's gonna be off the whole concept. The cheaters, yes.
Oh, I love.
Yeah.
I'll co-host with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That would be, I would like to see that.
Yeah. Lots of scandals.
I'm also proud the other night, we have this, we have these, how you have these community groups on Facebook, right? And the community I live in that has 10 or 15,000 followers, whatever. The other night, a kid went missing, and they tagged myself and Grizzy. I was like, I'm on to new heights now. I was tagged in it.
That's what's up. Oh, that's awesome.
That deserves an applause. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
But the biggest thing though too is, we always have to understand, and I'm so glad, I want to talk about your process.
Because when you have a person that goes missing in your family, right? It's a pretty big deal, especially a child, in a sense of, we know within 24 to 48 hours there's drug dealers, there's traffickers. However, we also hosting that child is going to live on the life of a lifetime on the internet. So we have to be very careful. And Grizzy, tell us your process in validating and confirming.
Oh yeah.
You've got the facts. This is a missing child. Before you post, you go through a couple.
I just ask people for this. Let it be mom and dad reaching out, not the friend of a friend of a friend. Or I know people are concerned and they care, and I love that. I love it. However, I need to get in contact with mom and dad. Like I need to know that this is legit, that this is not a pattern thing, because when you start posting stuff like that, we're expecting people to share. And then they're going to be curious. They're going to want to know things. I'm like, I don't know any of this, but it's just a better process if I'm able to talk directly to family members, to source and make sure that they went to the cops first and foremost. Because if you haven't gone to the police station, how much of a priority is it really? And some people are like, well, they told me I can't file a police report till 48 hours. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You can go to the station, tell them that you talked to me, post it, like we're gonna give me what I need, and I've got you. So it's like a lot of education like now this is weird, but we got kids that run away habitually. And at that point, I'm like, okay, what's going on in the house? What is this kid running away from? Because I remember being a troubled child and running away too. And I was running away from a lot of severe things. So what is this kid running away from? So it's been 1 or 2 times where I actually make contact with the missing child. And they might not be with the best of people, but they definitely don't need to be home. So I convinced them to go to the law enforcement, to go talk to the professionals, to get them help, because a lot of times the kids are running from something as well.
Yeah, but we're also seeing kids run just from strict
Yeah.
phone usage
Oh, yeah.
at home. You know, we potentially dealt with a case like that this
Yeah.
week where she ran because she didn't want to face strict cell phone use.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not, people are not afraid of authority anymore.
No, yeah.
And so what do you do? How do you have to have, like I always say, authentic conversations with your children, with other people to figure out where they are and where they're going and what they're thinking and really work it out. It's a different type of parenting.
I really want parents at home to be, you have to be nosy. I promise you, you'll find something that will bother you. Whether it might not be your child directly, but the company they keep. Go through their phones, listen to them when they're talking to you. They're telling you some things. Like, really have a relationship with your child. Like, I see people more invested in love relationships than their maternal relationships or paternal relationships. We got to get out of that, because our youth is headed towards a lot of trouble. If we have to depend on the times and stuff, I worry. Like, I don't ever want to be a senior in an elderly home. I don't want to be a burden to my daughter. Like, dang, if we can't even trust the future, you know, I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're doomed. A lot of these kids are heartless. They don't have feelings. They don't have compassion. They're assaulting. They're sexually assaulting in schools. They're fighting, bullying, robbing, you know, stealing. Like, there's a lot of stuff. There are good kids, and we need to protect them too. So I think that the relationship of mother and father is such a important one, because without that, the kids, a lot of kids that I'm coming across that are like already offending and doing things, they are depending on the care of a grandparent that might not. We're seeing a lot of aunts, uncles,
Yes.
non mother father relationships raising these kids, and unfortunately, a lot of times they're elderly. They don't have a lot of mobility. They're on a fixed income. So here come these kids. I mean, all of a sudden you're 70 years old and now you're faced with 5 kids. Like, there's no retirement, none, all of that out the door.
And they certainly don't understand the world our
Yes.
kids are being raised in today,
Exactly,
right? There's
exactly.
no understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, even our age gap to our children, there's a huge disconnect, let alone the older generation. You posted a story, and then I think I want to ask some global questions. But I'm curious, I won't say their names, but 2 people were charged with felony and invasive visual recording.
I remember them.
They set up recordings in the mall and Six Flags and other places to basically capture people changing. But they were also tennis coaches to kids as young as 8 years
Yeah,
old.
between 8 and 17.
Yes.
Yeah, out in the woodland there.
So I posed the question on your page, you know, at what age do you start talking to your children about you know, how to change or get dressed at the mall or at a pool, or, you know, if you with your coaches about, or teachers about boundaries and protecting body. And I said, is 8 too young? And everyone was like, 8's too young. But I asked the question because the man was a tennis coach of children 8 years old. So those 8-year-olds in his presence are potentially being victimized.
Us at 8 years old back then, we were more sheltered. Like, it was like, don't say that around her. Don't do this. But now we have to be somewhat inclusive with our kids. We got to let them know that there is bad out there. I just don't know the delivery. How does that go? How do you go about something like that? How do you explain that to a kid? It's yeah, there are ways.
Institute,
Yeah.
just a plug,
Yeah.
with age appropriate
But I
content.
remember also being in elementary school and stranger danger and hey, don't
It was
touch
so
me.
simple, though.
Yeah, it was very simple.
It was so simple. Now you're going to the mall and changing at the local
Forever 21.
Forever 21, right? And somebody's recording you and selling that video content. Did you ever post the video of the gym teacher that did the kiss that you sent me?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you guys, there's a video, and I sent it to Jennifer. We haven't figured it out because they're making excuses for this individual, but there is a gym, and it's going to be a debatable one because I've sent it to a few people that I trust, and mom and dad reached out to me. It was a parents' day at a gymnastics spot. It was parents' day, so the parents got to see their child behind glass. They're watching. The little boy, like, mom is recording. Husband is watching his daughter on a balance beam, and the son is like, "Hey, mom, look at me." But she's in, and she's about to do like a
On the
somersault,
daughter.
like a cartwheel on the balance beam. And there's a woman coach at the end of the balance being ready to grab her, but there's a man coach and he has her by the waist, so her bottom is in his face, and he moves in and kisses her in the video. And we've got that. Yes. And I wish I could share certain things. I had her blurred out already. I got her face blurred. I had permission. There's so many legalities. It's almost impossible to share it because the perspective, well, and I even zoomed it in because at first you don't really see the first, yeah. But when you zoom in, you see he goes and he purses his lips and he makes contact with her bottom. So I was so bothered. I was like, oh my gosh, Jennifer. I'm like, Jennifer, what do you think about this? I even reached out to law enforcement. There, one person said, weirdo, this is a weirdo. I was like, I know, what do we do? I would get sued for posting this kind of stuff because they told the parents, we're going to teach him boundaries and correct spotting. There was an issue with his spotting, like spotting for the child. And I'm like, are you serious? At first, yeah, at first, the staff, when mom showed this, like, look at this. The husband turned around, did you get that on video? She's like, I did. And so they showed, and everybody was outraged at first. So then the week they said, we're going to work with you guys. We're going to figure it out. We got to get, he's got to go. Monday, the owner is there and she's like, oh no, he needs more training in spotting, like spotting for the kid, holding her, doing all this stuff. And I'm like, he kissed her, like in a
that was irate.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a potential situation
So,
too.
so there's a set of parents out there whose daughter is no longer able to participate at this place that she really enjoyed because somebody was more worried about keeping an employee from getting fired and going through the difficulties or whatever they've got to face. It's sad, you know, like, what do we do? Like, I wish I could just throw it out to the winds. I could get a lawsuit, like the family could get in trouble. Like, it's just, I feel like these days there's more protection for the people that do bad.
I think that's, a message for parents, right? As you are the number one advocate for your child. And used to be you could drop them off at a sports event, and I know we all work, right? And so it's hard to be a working parent and take them to all the activities, but you also need to be vigilant. Let those establishments that you take your children know that you're watching, that you're going to have family members there, or the other parent is watching. This is where becoming what I call a village is so important. So you're watching out for each other's kids because we can't all be at the same place. But even when we're there, our children are potentially getting offended.
Look out for one another's children because yeah, we have to and speak up. Don't be afraid. I think that a lot of stuff goes unnoticed. How many other times would he have done this? How many times? Because he did it. He's done it before. Probably, yeah. And the parents even told me, yeah, like one of the workers said, yeah, I saw him grope a child and I had to call him out on it. I'm like, call him out about it. Like, why did you not go to somebody else with this? Like, so that's very disappointing, you know, and these are programs that parents want to, you know, to keep their kids away from trouble. And here they are in this scenario.
Okay, we're gonna go to one national topic and then let's open up for questions. And it's a touchy one. But I'm thinking about we're talking about in the corporate setting or when dealing with kids, people sort of walk on, tiptoe. They don't want to offend people. They want to be careful on making accusations. You have a coach who's making physical contact inappropriately with a minor. But then you look at college campuses across America, and these students aren't afraid of anything.
No.
And they're protesting and
they're smart in doing this. They know.
What are
Yeah.
your thoughts about that generation and free speech? And
I'm all
campuses?
for people voicing their opinions and like do the peaceful protest, but when you start like rioting and doing, I don't know, like it is a very touchy subject. I have to be careful what I say right now about it because I've been out to a few where people are protesting things in the middle of the night. You know, I'm like, do they even know they need to be at the district attorney's office and not out here at the jail? Like people really need to understand how government works. We cannot, can we talk about that? Yes, you cannot go protest outside the jail. No, you have to go like for somebody going to jail because there was a district attorney's office. You cannot go to the jail saying, we want this guy charged with the murder of the, you have to go to the district attorney's office. They're the ones that decline the charges. So like, we have to understand a little more how things work. I love to see brilliant minds out there, like let your, you know, your juices flow with this intensity, whatever you feel passionate about. But let's just keep it safe. Let's just keep the environment like where it's productive for those that are just there to learn. And
That's a big one.
And don't let free
Mhm.
speech
Turn into hate speech.
Yeah.
With racial
Yes.
slurs, I mean, there's that
Yes.
piece too. I mean, I love, you know me, I love a good rebel. My favorite movie was Billie Jean. So I mean, I'm like, I was built for that. But don't let it turn into something that it wasn't meant for the mission that you've got ahead of you, which is advocating for people or whatever.
We become like the ones that we don't agree with. So
That's a
it's,
great point.
yeah, it's just, I've been to a few protests. I've been to a protest in downtown for George Floyd that turned into like a little mini riot, but I'm so proud of Houston because there were, yeah, there were things that were set there, like bricks. There was a forklift with a key in it. Like there were things that I wonder, like, who left this here? Like I really wanted to know, like, was this staged by like groups such as Antifa? Because there were people that didn't really like, you know, Houston, we got a swag. These folks didn't have that H-Town swag. I'm like, where are these people from? And they were like trying to direct the kids. No, go this way, get the rocks, get the rock. I seen it, and it's even on video. And I'm like, who are these skater board dudes, man? They where are they out here?
This is that question of a paid protest.
Rather than a protester
Yeah.
of free will.
And we saw that in
and
front of the
okay.
George R. Brown Convention Center when the NRA was in town and they had their convention. We saw like these guys that appeared to be like kind of staged, starting like little fights. And I'm like, you guys are actors. I called them out. I said, you're actors. You guys are actors. And they kind of like started disassembling. Yeah, because I saw that. I saw that during the George Floyd, so I saw the same thing. I was like, nah, you become more aware. And this is the stuff that media needs to be highlighting. Like there are things, but I think sometimes their agendas are.
I was just gonna say, well, that's a whole other.
That's a whole
Yeah,
other
yeah. Yes, yes.
Next year's
Beginning
Yeah.
episode.
Very interesting conversation. I love media, but definitely the last few years. It's
Difficult, yeah,
agenda
for
driven.
sure. Mhm.
Okay, Grizzy, any questions for Grizzy from you all? While we're waiting, okay, do you have a dream that you have that you're hoping to do one day?
I want to start.
Be on Oprah?
Yeah, my one dream, oh, I have a few dreams. I want to one day get a home for my parents, like so that they're good and my family's good. And that, yeah, Mama Castillo, you guys have met my mom. And no, my one dream is to one day own a piece of property where there might be a gym on the property, like some sort of facility where people can come seek shelter from like domestic violence, the storms. That is my honest to God, like one day to have some sort of building and just for people to utilize. Hey, Grizzy, we've got a mom with 5 kids. She has nowhere. Those are the stories that I don't get to talk about often because I'm trying to find resources for. I don't ever want to put somebody when they're down and out. I come across a lot of displaced people, you know, just looking for somewhere to go. And so like I have some great friends that are advocates for the homeless and they help me with resources. My mom, she does a lot of volunteering at a food bank. And I asked her, I said, Mom, do you know anybody that can help? Yes. My mom's like, yes, my friend Marta, this and this and that. I'm like, thank you, Mom. My mom hooked it up because I didn't know that Mama Castillo was a resource. So it's just all about trying to reach out to people. And I never even knew my mom knew somebody that knows somebody. And it just worked out so well. This lady with her kids were able to find a place to stay in a place where right now the homeless situation is like, yeah.
Which is amazing.
We've done so much on the homeless issue.
I know, but it's.
And it just
ever-
continues to, it's ever
yeah,
evolving.
And then there are people facing.
And then we have
homelessness.
people coming
Yeah.
to Houston homeless. And I'm like, why did you come here? Like, there's nothing here. Yeah, like we don't have resources. Like, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to the audience now.
Hi.
And then say your question.
Letitia Barra, it's really more of a comment. I did have a question, but you answered it already. So number one, I want to thank you and your news team and all of the people that helped you. You know, I'm a mother of a murder victim here in town, and I know that you get thanked a lot. I don't think you realize how going to break up how deeply this affects those of us who are victims. You know, we have people from Crime Stoppers, we have law enforcement, we have those people whose job it is to help us. But there's, or it feels like often, very few and far between that anyone else cares. And so seeing someone like you, who's turned your life around, who's in the neighborhood, who represents the actual community, that you care. And not just that you care, it's not lip service, that you're doing something about it. So not just you, but again, shout out to the new, to all the hood people.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we just wanna, what we wanna offer through our page for you and many families like yourself is that we love you and we're here for you in any kind of way that we can help, because we can't bring your loved one back.
And we need that, you know,
Yeah.
we need more of that. And there's a whole lot of us that are going to try and
Yeah.
do something. And,
Yeah.
and my other comment is that what you're doing is an inspiration for those of us who want to make something better come out of our tragedy.
That's right, that's
And
right.
so seeing you do this in such a grassroots way, it's really, really, like I said, I don't think you understand how much influence that you've had.
Thank you.
Aside from the real work that we see happening. The other thing that I've noticed too is, like you said, like the actors that were showing up, the opposition to people that are for the criminals, I've seen it, I've testified in some Senate hearings. The opposite of people that are for the criminals are well-funded. They show up and they show up in droves. And then there's those of us who take days off work, who have to miss work, drive to Austin, pay for hotel rooms and all of that, are doing it for free. And so we need more people like you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you on your journey, because you know that there's the strength that comes from this horrible experience that you will forever be driven with. You know, that's a strength that you have now. And I think you're very incredible, and thank you so much. And you're gonna be able to help other people. Like, you have a purpose that's way bigger than you even realize.
Tell people, you know, once the trial was over and everything, I was like, God, I don't know what you want me to do with this, but wherever you lead me, I'll do it. And this is kind of where it's going. And so thank you again so much.
You know what, I don't think
A lot of people know about you. Thank you. That was beautiful. That was amazing. I don't think the public knows, and then Rennie and I talked, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Talked about this before we came down with Grizzy. She doesn't monetize this. This woman makes no off the clicks, no money off the clicks, no, and she's just now with her podcast starting to have advertisers.
Yeah,
and support.
if I make income, it's through the sponsors for the show and then for myself. And so, yeah, but people think that I'm making money off the views and stuff like that. It happened for a short time, but the words murder, shooting, all those things, that's why I always tell people I'm not doing this for likes. Like, y'all got me effed up. Like, no, I'm doing this, like, I'm doing this for awareness.
Words
Yeah.
take her, she's not able to monetize it.
Facebook wants to
Explain.
hear sexy,
Yes.
rocking, let's have a great time, coochie, like just weird words like that. The Facebook, they want to sell you sex, they want to sell you fun, alcohol, like that kind of stuff. The party environment or cussing someone, trolling makes people money. But the good stuff out there, the awareness, the sex trafficking awareness, the murder, all that stuff, it's there's no place for it on social media. They want to create chaos. They want to glamorize on Instagram. The kids are fanning money, not showing that they stole 100 catalytic converters for it. They're like that's where I say parents need to be really paying attention to what their kids are doing on social media, because I promise you, you'll find something that will bother you. Definitely, like social media, like Instagram. I don't like Instagram. I have to post now because I have some obligations to do with the advertising, but Instagram is a mess. Like the audience is very like they justify crime. Well, what did she do? Like if a woman got gunned down, if a woman's been gunned down, what did she do? I'm like, wow, like she didn't deserve that.
flip this to
We're talking about the stories, but I'm flipping it to, if those call out to the companies or the corporations that want to sponsor public safety and us being aware of how to protect our families, get in touch with her, with Grizzy, place ads on her podcast so that she can continue to do the work that she's doing and have a bigger reach. And so, sorry, that's
Oh,
my
thank you,
shameless
Jennifer. I love
pose
y'all. I love
for-
y'all.
If I can, just want to acknowledge, we have over 200 people on our live.
Yay.
Thank you, everybody who joined from our live.
Okay.
So one for you, Grizzy, is when will you partner with HPD for good?
Oh, HPD. I love me some HPD. Man, let me tell y'all, Houston Police Department, they would see this middle-aged woman showing up like outside a crime scene, or not even crime scene, just like their calls. Like I captured an officer going to a house fire before HFD arrived. And this tall retired Marine officer was going in and out the house. Like he had a dog, then he comes out with a cat, then he comes out with a crowd of people coming behind him. Like HPD was where it started. Like they supported the Hood News. They acknowledged me. They would give me sound bites. My first few sound bites actually came. Well, one was from HCSO. He was a captain that retired, but after him, it was incredible. Like I was getting sound bites and I was like, oh my God, I think this is really something legit, y'all. I was like, oh my God. I remember calling my mom, HPD talked to me. They told me what happened. And so I have a huge spot in my heart. Like I have a good relationship with HPD and I love them. All law enforcement, really. Mark Herman, everybody that cares about the community, I've got a pretty good relationship with. So I would love some kind of something, but I mean, it's a growing relationship.
But I've even seen where they
wait for you to get there to
talk
talk
about
about the
Yes,
news.
yes,
too.
yeah.
Like I didn't even say it was like, is Grizzy okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
now
so
Grizzy, we
cool,
can
man.
start. We
I
can
love
start.
the Houston Police
And they
Department.
call you for information. They call you about videos and stuff.
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
they?
yeah. Like the other day, I mean, I pulled up to a scene and already had, like, there was a young man that was smoking a cigarette on the so many floors above an actual crime scene. And before like they could make entry to the nearby businesses, we presented some video footage, like, here, this is like what happened. So that kind of stuff, like we like to help, because it'll, like, after I gave them the video, a mother in distress pulls up and she's like, I want to know about my daughter. She was here. She's not answering the phone. She said there was trouble. So I felt even better that we provided that footage, because it's going to help capture whoever did this to her daughter.
I'm thinking maybe
Mayor Whitmire. Mayor Whitmire, we need a Grizzy Hood News Day in Houston.
Well,
Mr. Whitmire.
I have a day in the city, but like it was just kind of given to me. If they want to do another one, I'll be okay. Like I like this mayor. I like our new mayor. I like him. He's a great guy. Yeah, I'll take a new thing.
Okay, we have time for one more question. So we have a question from Megan Pinata, and her question is, what made you start the news?
Middle life crisis. Yeah, midlife. Yeah, midlife crisis. The daughter was out in college. I felt very. I've told people this. I've struggled with suicide, depression. I had a corporate job that I just felt like, so as women, we don't necessarily, it's a boys' world still, and my dad raised us women, like the women in his house, to be leaders and to be like bad bitches, like that. But yeah. Baddies. And my dad was always like, I want you to be big. I want you to be successful. I don't ever want you to have to deal with anything that somebody gives you. And I worked in an environment where it was very hostile towards the women. And then I was a felon. That's a first felon ever working for this corporation, and a woman, and Hispanic woman at that. So I had like these things. I remember one time, it was such a chaotic work environment. I remember one time where they flew in an executive, and every time the executives would come in, it's kind of like a family reunion, because all the branches work together and everything. And it was like a meet and greet, and everybody had their moment to meet this executive. And when they brought the executive to my desk, they're like, oh, this is Grizzy. She's our Jenny from the block.
Oh.
And I was like, I looked at my computer, and then I said, no, sir, I'm Grizzy from the hood. And I just felt so angry. I was so angry. that was like not the way, because I was a very professional woman. Like I always like did the most, you know, because I felt like I had to prove myself constantly. Where Mary gets to come in late every day, I had to be on time. Don't let me be late once, because they will see that, but they won't see this lady coming in repeatedly late, sleeping with the boss and all this stuff, you know. Never mind all those things, or coming in to work all inappropriate and hoochie. So I was like, you know, I can't take this much more. It was depressing. It was so depressing. And I hated this work environment. And then I had a friend, Mal, she came into work after me, another minority woman. And I saw the pattern, and I said, you and I can't be here much longer, because it's going to eat you up. I've been here almost 8 years. You gotta go. You're so young and you're beautiful, and you need to find something else. Use this as a stepping stone, but get out of here. They called me to the office one day. They're like, Grizzy, we noticed you're really distracted. And I'm like, you're just now noticing I'm distracted? Yeah. I'm like, no, sir. They wanted to point out that I had hood news. And they're like, this has got to stop. Yeah, it was like 3 years in, or 2 years in. And they're like, we're going to need you to, you know, kind of fall back on those activities. I'm like, why? It's not interfering with my work. I'm here. I'm the most productive employee you got back here. I know how to work all these different, you know, the storms come in, I can open, you know, like set up. I've done everything. Like, what are you referring to? And the voice told me inside my head, everything I wanted to do for the last few years, which was quit. And I told myself, you know what? Hey, Rick, I'm so sorry. I'm leaving today. I quit. I don't want to put in a 2 weeks notice, none of that. They left my desk there for 3 months, because they thought, hoping I'd come back, and, you know, checking up on me. Hey, Grizz, you coming back? No, sir. No. The best thing
With HPD.
the best thing I could have ever done was believe in myself. And I had not done that. You are your best investment. Don't let anybody ever make you feel like you need them. No, mofos. Y'all need me. Yeah, for real. Y'all need me. You have to have that. You are your own brand. Even if you're not an influencer or anything like that, you are the boss. You own it. You wake up every day. That's a victory in itself. I was feeling defeated and all these things, and depressed and suicidal. I cut my arm real bad one day, and I said, I can't do this because my kid will fight me like this. I was such a solitary creature. And I'm like, no, she's going to be the one that finds me. So I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Man, I don't want to die. I want to keep pushing. Like, you'll find your happiness. God squeezes, but he does not choke. He does not choke. And that is the word that I have for people. Stay strong. Believe in you. Believe in you. And then everyone else will follow, man. I'm telling you, it'll fall in line. Like, I got rid of all that toxic stuff, and I was worried about the financials. I'm like, am I gonna have to take out my 401k? What am I gonna do? How am I gonna survive? The bills are coming. Oh my God, my kid has college. Oh no, it all sorted itself out. Now I don't have to worry month to month, bill to bill. I don't have to live check to check. And actually, like, I feel fulfilled. I work more than ever. It's not a secret. I'm working like 16, 17 hours a day, where people get to go on vacation. People get to chill. They get to go drink, go to clubs and do. Grizzy's working all the time. And I wake up, I think I'm starting to get like arthritis or something, but it's okay. I'm happy, happier than I'll ever be, sitting behind a desk, feeling unappreciated, feeling worthless, feeling like somebody like I need them. No. So yeah.
Okay, we have one last request.
Okay.
Your last request is, when are you gonna show off firefighters, officers, etc. for your single ladies?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. Go support the calendar. Make sure you buy yourself the calendar. If you really like, hey, ladies, I guess you guys gotta look. I'm gonna say this. You know, our firefighters, our law enforcement, they are fathers, sons, daughters. You know, all of that. Mothers, wives. Don't forget, a lot of these guys are married. Okay, so shout out to our families of law enforcement. Yes, but if you want to support, I say, you know, a lot of single ladies, let me just give this advice for the ladies, the chiquitas out there. The dating pool is like, the pickings are slim. All right, we already know. But you need to love on you, work on you, and you'll come across the best partners ever when you start like internally, but get that calendar. That's all I gotta say. Get that HFD calendar. It'll go to a great cause. Yes.
I have one thing, look.
I work at a company called Baker Construction, and we have this tagline, "People honor grit." And I think you bestow every single one of those words. So I got you some cool earrings, and they're all about grit.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
I love you, Jennifer.
And then for your car, a little bit of cross to keep, a
Oh,
little bit of
thank
God to keep it
you.
safe.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Episode, we wouldn't have it with anybody else. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all so much for being with us and all of you online. Thank you.
Yes.
Dating advice, family advice.
Yeah.
career advice.
Woo, yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to today's Balanced Conversation. You can find real solutions and tangible resources in our show notes at thebalancedvoicepodcast.com. To join the conversation, follow us on Instagram at The Balanced Voice Podcast and on Twitter at @BalancedVoice_. Stay up to date on Runya's work by following her at The Runya Report, and we can't wait to see you next week for another Balanced Conversation.